Okay, so you've got a basic understanding now of moving around the game world. Okay, so next thing, we're going to have a look at some of the elements that are in the game world. First of all, if you select the terrain, which is in the world outliner, this represents this plane, which has got some grass on it at the moment. That's called the terrain, and eventually we're going to sculpt this so it looks, instead of looking like a flat plane, it'll look more like it's got hills and valleys on it. And we can also change the different textures that are on it by painting on it. Then we've got the player start, which is important. If we select it and press the F key on the keyboard, this is where the player is spawned when the interactive part begins or when the game begins. And if we zoom in, we can actually see there's a little blue arrow, a light blue arrow. That determines the direction in which the player is facing. So when I click on the play button, the player is facing in the direction which isn't towards that square. If I just stop that and I go back to the first person view, which is there, I select it and I rotate it, and you can see which direction it's pointing now. I can rotate it so it's facing towards the oblong object. Click on play. You can see now that we're facing that direction, so that's a good tip if you want to spawn the character to face in a particular direction. You'll notice as I'm doing some changes, we see there's little asterisks over this brown icon. That represents the level and it's called begin stage. Okay, so we can click on save and that will save any changes that we've made. Okay, now at the moment we're inside the skill building folder within the content browser. If we click on the content browser button, we've got a number of folders, okay, and if you open up the castle parts folder, and you can also move those, you can see more of them. We've got lots of different elements that make up the castle here, which are 3D models, okay. So let's say we dragged in the castle tower into the level. We notice I've dragged it into the level and it snaps to the game world. Now, on the top edge of the game view, we've got 3 icons. One's to move, one's to rotate, and one's to scale. So we'll just look at these. I click on the move tool, I press the F on the keyboard, I press the Alt key down, and left mouse button down, and I can rotate around and have a look at the model that we've imported into the object. Selecting one of the arrow keys, left click down and drag, you can move the 3D model around on the surface. If you want to move it in 2 directions at the same time, you can see that the arrows have been selected and you can move it around. And you can do the same with the rotate tool. Just again. Alt key down just to give us a bit of a view. And then you can rotate. Now you notice it's snapping. If you don't want that to snap, it's snapping at 10 degrees there, so we'll just turn that off. As you can see now, it rotates smoothly, so you just wanted to turn the object around. Now, you might want to scale this, but to be honest, all of these objects are the right proportions. Well, I'll just show you the scale tool, and you can scale the object up and down. Obviously, if you made a mistake, you can go to the Edit, Undo, and then that'll put it back to what it was. So hopefully that's shown you how to drag objects in and then change the, either move them around, rotate them, and scale them.